In lesson 2, we really zeroed in more on missing addends. And if you remember from lesson 1, what missing addends are is they're essentially a number that we don't know at the outset of the equation. They're going to give us most of what we need to solve the problem, but they're going to take one piece away. And we just, as the people solving it, we need to find out ways to figure out what the letter is or the symbol or whatever it is that they're going to give us in order to make the problem make sense. Because the way that they set it up, normally when they take that piece out, it's not going to make any sense. It's just going to be, 3 plus 4 plus x equals 12 or whatever, and you need to find a way to make that make sense. The example that we used in class is we rolled dice a few times, and so let's say the first time that we rolled the dice, and I won't draw the dots, I'll just do the digits, but let's say the first time we did a 5. And then the second time we rolled a 3. And then I rolled the dice one more time but hit it and said, okay, and we have one other number that we need to figure out. And the total number, if you added all of these, all of the dice that we rolled together, that would equal 12. And so in this case we have 5 plus 3 plus a number, and notice when I said in a number, I just put the letter x, and that all of those rolls together equaled 12. From there, this is just like yesterday. There's a couple ways you can look at it. You can draw it out if you'd like. You can also, we talked about a different way, especially when you're dealing with some longer problems, when you get more than just 2 addends. What you can do is you can actually take pieces that you know already and simplify that. So if I know I can already add 5 plus 3, I can just put an 8 down here, and now I have 8 plus x equals 12. And then from there, all I need to figure out is what's the difference between 12 and 8. At this point, we can mentally do it. That's a way that you can solve the problem, is that x is going to equal 4 because 8 plus 4 equals 12. Another way you can solve it, I'm going to make some of this a little smaller so I have some room to work with here. Another way you can look at it is if you have that 8 plus x equals 12. What you can also do, and if you want to get really fancy and use good mathematical language, you can do what's called the inverse operation. The inverse operation, just the term for basically doing the opposite of what the problem asks you to do initially, so that you can solve for your missing addend. So in this case, and I know that was really complicated, essentially what you're doing is, because we were adding, we're just going to flip that around and subtract, and we're just going to move the pieces around in this equation so that we can subtract. So I'm going to take 12 minus 8, remember because we had a plus sign up here, so we have minus. 12 minus 8 equals 4, and then that would give me that same answer of x equals 4. Either way is just fine, however you want to solve it. If you like the inverse operation, great. If you want to draw it out, awesome. If you want to do it mentally, at this point I'm okay with it. Once we get a little bit later in the year, I'm definitely going to need to see your work, but since we're just kind of establishing ourselves and getting our good foundation set, this is totally fine to do mentally. To wrap everything up, don't forget when we have these missing addends to write your answer as x equals 4, or if the letter was A or N or Q or W or whatever it is, make sure that you tell me what that letter equals. It's proper mathematical form, and essential as you get higher up in math. By 6th grade, it's absolutely required to do it. So, nothing too crazy. Pretty quick lesson, but the idea still remains the same. Multiple ways to do it. I want you to pick the one that makes the most sense to you and go with that.